Welcome to the Daily Stoic Dose. Before starting, please subscribe channel for deep Stoic advices. 1. The power of words that etch themselves into her memory. If I told you that a single sentence, not your looks, not your money, not your status, could permanently alter the way a woman feels when she hears your name, would you still waste your voice on empty lines like your pretty or nice outfit? Because here's the truth most men never learn: women don't fall for words, they fall for how words make them feel about themselves, and about you, and the men who understand this, they are never forgotten. Welcome back to the channel. Most men believe attraction is visual. They think it's muscles, fashion, lifestyle, or confidence alone, but attraction doesn't begin in the eyes, it begins in the nervous system. A woman remembers the man who made her feel seen, understood, and recognized at a level no one else reached, and today, you're going to learn how to do exactly that, without chasing, without flattery, without sounding needy, because a disciplined man doesn't speak to impress. He speaks to leave an imprint. Today, I'll reveal 8 psychologically powerful acknowledgements, not compliments, acknowledgements. These are not words that beg for approval, these are statements that activate memory, emotion, and attraction at a deep level. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever been ignored despite doing everything right, if you've ever wondered why some men are unforgettable without trying, this video is for you. And if you're ready to elevate your presence through Stoic discipline, emotional control, and intentional speech, subscribe now. Every video here sharpens your mind, your frame, and your ability to connect without losing yourself. Acknowledgement number 1, her scent, memory, desire, presence, that scent you're wearing. It stays with me. Let's start with something most men completely overlook: scent, not looks, not curves. Not clothing, scent. Here's why this matters. Smell is directly wired to the limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotion and long-term memory. That's why one fragrance can transport you back years in a second, a night, a moment, a feeling you thought you forgot. So when you acknowledge a woman's scent, you're not complimenting hygiene, you're telling her something far more powerful: your presence lingers even when you're gone. That idea alone is intoxicating, but here's where most men fail: they say it wrong, they blurt it out casually, they overdo it, they sound hungry. A disciplined man understands restraint. He notices, then speaks once. Calmly, without urgency. When you say, "That scent suits you," or "That fragrance is memorable," you're signaling presence. You're saying, "I was here with you. I noticed. I'm not rushing. I don't need to impress." And watch what happens. She straightens slightly, her breathing changes, her awareness shifts inward, because now, every time she uses that scent, your memory is attached to it. That's not flirting, that's psychological association, and association creates longing. Acknowledgement number 2, her smile, influence, energy, impact. When you smile, the atmosphere changes. Most men say, "Nice smile." Forgettable, meaningless. A man who understands emotional intelligence notices effect, not appearance. A smile isn't lips and teeth, it's influence, it's the ability to change emotional temperature. Think about it: you've been in rooms that felt heavy, tense, disconnected, then one person enters, genuinely calm, open, present, and suddenly, everything softens. That's power. When you tell a woman her smile changes the space, you're not admiring beauty, you're acknowledging impact. You're saying, "You matter here. You affect people. You carry emotional weight." That's rare, and rarity is remembered. A Stoic man doesn't chase attention. He notices reality, and when he speaks, his words land deeply because they're true. This acknowledgement tells her, "I don't just see your face, I see what happens when you exist." That stays with her. Acknowledgement number 3, her authenticity, courage, identity, strength. You don't try to be anything else. That's rare. We live in an age of performance, filtered personalities, manufactured opinions, social masks. Authenticity today isn't common, it's courageous. When you acknowledge a woman's authenticity, you validate something she likely protects fiercely. You're saying, "I see the real you. And I respect it." This isn't praise, it's recognition. It tells her, "You don't need to adjust for me. You don't need to impress. You're enough as you are." That hits deeper than beauty ever could. From a Stoic lens, authenticity is alignment, living in accordance with your nature. A disciplined man respects truth over approval, so when he recognizes authenticity in another, it signals shared values. That creates trust, and trust creates attraction that doesn't fade quickly. Acknowledgement number 4, her perspective, mind, depth, curiosity. The way you see things makes me reconsider my own thoughts. Most people talk to respond, very few listen to understand. When you acknowledge how she thinks, not what she looks like, you elevate the interaction beyond surface-level attraction. You're saying, your mind matters. Your perspective has value. You're not interchangeable. That's powerful, because men chase beauty, but depth is chosen. A Stoic man values clarity, insight, and independent thought, so when he acknowledges a woman's perspective, he invites deeper conversation without force. This creates emotional intimacy without touching her, and emotional intimacy is what binds memory. Acknowledgement number 5, her energy, inspiration, elevation, growth. Being around you makes me want to improve. This is one of the highest forms of recognition. You're not saying she entertains you, you're saying she elevates you. That tells her, I don't feel smaller around you. I feel driven. I feel sharpened. A disciplined man surrounds himself with people who push him forward. When you acknowledge that energy in her, you're honoring her presence, not consuming it. That's respect, and respect is far more attractive than desire alone. Pause, midpoint reflection, notice something important. None of these acknowledgements are loud, none are exaggerated, none are needy. They are calm, observant, grounded. That's Stoic attraction. You don't chase reaction, you speak truth, and let it land. And we're only halfway. In part 2, we'll go even deeper, into character, ambition, emotional intelligence, and the acknowledgements that separate temporary interest from lasting impact, because the man who understands this, is never just another message in her phone. Part 2, the acknowledgements that create emotional attachment, transition, re-engagement hook. If you're still listening, it means something inside you already understands this truth. Attraction is not created by saying more, it's created by saying what others never see. In part 1, you learned how presence, awareness, and restraint separate unforgettable men from forgettable ones. Now we go deeper, because once a woman feels noticed, the next step is making her feel respected, and respect is where attachment begins. Acknowledgement number 6, her consideration, character, integrity, depth. You're genuinely thoughtful, not performative, not forced. It shows. Let's be honest, we live in a world obsessed with appearing kind. Everyone wants credit for being nice. Very few people are actually considerate. True consideration is quiet, it's remembering details no one else remembers, it's checking in without being asked, it's adjusting your behavior so others feel safe, seen, and valued. When you acknowledge this in a woman, you're not complimenting behavior, you're recognizing character, and character is rarely noticed. Most men are so focused on attraction that they miss the foundation of connection, but a disciplined man understands something vital. Beauty draws attention, character builds trust. When you say she's genuinely considerate, you're telling her, I see your effort. I see your awareness. I see your heart. That lands at her core, because kindness without recognition can feel invisible. You become the man who noticed. From a Stoic perspective, virtue outweighs image. Marcus Aurelius didn't admire charm, he admired goodness, so when you acknowledge her thoughtfulness, you align yourself with timeless values, that makes you feel safe, grounded, different, and difference is magnetic. Acknowledgement number 7, her drive, purpose, discipline, fire. Your focus is rare. You move with intention. Ambition isn't loud, it doesn't announce itself. Driven people don't beg for validation, they're too busy building. And in a world addicted to distraction, discipline stands out. When you acknowledge her drive, you're doing something powerful. You're saying, I see your sacrifices. I see your consistency. I see your long-term vision. This is not encouragement, this is recognition of effort, and effort, when seen, creates emotional bonds. Especially for women who are often told to slow down, settle, or dim their fire. The Stoic man respects purpose. He doesn't fear ambition, he aligns with it. When you tell her her drive inspires you, you're not placing her above you, you're standing beside her, you're signaling, we move in the same direction. That creates partnership energy, not neediness, and partnership energy creates long-term attraction. Acknowledgement number 8, her emotional intelligence, safety, presence, connection. You have a way of making people feel comfortable without trying. This is one of the rarest qualities a human can possess, the ability to make others feel at ease, not entertained, not impressed, safe. Some people demand attention, others create space. When you acknowledge this in her, you're touching something deep, you're telling her, your presence heals. People lower their guard around you. You bring calm. That's not charm, that's emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence builds attachment faster than any flirtation. A disciplined man values peace, he doesn't chase chaos, he doesn't romanticize drama, so when he recognizes emotional intelligence, it signals maturity, and maturity creates trust. Trust opens doors attraction alone never can. Why most men fail here? Brutal truth. Here's the hard reality most won't accept: men talk too much, they over-explain, they over-compliment, they over-invest verbally, and in doing so, they dilute their words. A disciplined man speaks less, but every word carries weight. He doesn't compliment to get something, he acknowledges because he noticed. That difference is felt immediately, one feels needy, the other feels grounded. And women sense it instinctively. The Stoic frame. Why? This works. Stoicism isn't emotional suppression, it's emotional mastery. It teaches you to act with intention rather than impulse, to speak with clarity rather than insecurity, to observe before reacting. When you adopt this frame, you stop chasing validation, you stop competing for attention, you stop trying to impress. Instead, you become centered, and centered men are rare. Your words no longer seek approval, they reflect truth, and truth resonates. Silence is part of the strategy. Here's something powerful most men miss: you don't need to say all of this at once. In fact, you shouldn't. One acknowledgement at the right moment is more powerful than 10 compliments in a row. Silence afterward matters. Say it, then let it breathe, let her process it, let it settle, because what lingers is not what you said, it's how it made her feel. Emotional imprinting. What you're really doing, you're not trying to make her like you, you're creating emotional reference points, moments she associates with calm, with clarity, with being understood. That's how emotional imprinting works. She doesn't think, he said the right thing. She thinks, I feel different around him. And that's the shift you want. Midpoint reset. Keep viewers engaged. If this is resonating with you, pause for a moment. Think about how often you've been overlooked, not because you lacked value, but because you never learned how to express it with discipline. That ends here. In part 3, we'll bring everything together. You'll learn how to deliver these acknowledgements effortlessly, avoid the one mistake that kills attraction instantly, end conversations in a way that keeps her thinking about you, and why restraint is your greatest advantage. Because mastery isn't loud, it's controlled, and controlled men are unforgettable. Part 3, the art of speaking less and being remembered more. Re-entry hook, final turning point. If you've stayed this far, understand something important. You're no longer learning how to attract a woman, you're learning how to remain unforgettable, because attention is cheap, interest is temporary. But emotional imprint lasts, and only men with discipline, restraint, and awareness leave it behind. Why most men sabotage attraction without realizing it. Let's begin with the mistake that destroys everything. Men talk too much, they explain their intentions, they justify their feelings, they try to clarify what doesn't need clarification, and in doing so, they remove mystery, polarity, and tension. A Stoic man understands this truth: power is felt in restraint, not expression. When you say less, your words gain gravity. When you react slower, your presence deepens. When you stop trying to be understood, you become intriguing. Most men speak from anxiety, disciplined men speak from certainty, and certainty is felt before it's heard. The rule of delivery: how words become weapons or weakness. Everything you've learned so far depends on how you deliver it. Tone matters more than content, timing matters more than enthusiasm. Stillness matters more than passion. Here's the rule: never rush in. Acknowledgement: say it once, say it calmly, then stop. No follow-ups, no explanations, no seeking reaction. Let silence do the rest. Silence is not absence, it's authority, and authority creates attraction. The moment that makes her think about you later, Most men try to end conversations with more words. Big mistake. The man who stays in her mind is the one who leaves space. Here's how it works. You deliver one meaningful acknowledgement. Then you disengage emotionally. You don't linger. You don't chase response. You don't fill the gap. You let her sit with it, and that's when something interesting happens. Her mind replays the moment. Not because you pushed it, but because you didn't. That's restraint, and restraint triggers curiosity. The Stoic exit. Why how you leave matters more than how you enter. The most attractive men don't chase closure, they exit cleanly. Calm, grounded, unbothered. When you end an interaction without trying to extract validation, you communicate strength. You're saying, I enjoyed this. I don't need more. I know who I am. That confidence doesn't shout, it settles, and women remember how a man made them feel at the end, not the beginning. End interactions on calm certainty, not excitement. Excitement fades, certainty stays. Why these words work, the psychology behind it all. Let's break it down simply. These acknowledgements work because they focus on who she is, not how she looks, recognize impact, not performance. Signal self-control, not desire, reflect presence, not hunger. You're not trying to be chosen, you're demonstrating that you already chose yourself, and paradoxically, that's what makes her choose you. The final shift, from chaser to centered man. Here's the real transformation. You stop chasing reactions. You stop chasing validation. You stop chasing attention. Instead, you become centered. And centered men don't compete. They are selected, because they feel safe, grounded. Different. Women don't attach to chaos. They attach to calm certainty. Remember this forever. A woman may forget what you wore. She may forget what you said exactly. But she will never forget how you made her feel seen, how you didn't rush, how you didn't try too hard, how your presence felt stable. That's the imprint, that's the memory, that's the difference between being another option and being the standard. Final Stoic message, subscribe-worthy ending. We're not here to impress, we're here to master ourselves, to speak with intention, to move with discipline, to connect without losing control. If you're tired of being overlooked, if you're done playing games that don't serve you, if you're ready to become the man who doesn't chase, but is remembered, then this channel is for you. Subscribe, because every video sharpens your mind, your presence, and your ability to connect through calm authority. Drop a comment below with the word discipline if you've made it to the end. Let's see who truly understands the power of restraint. We're not average here, we're intentional, and intentional men are unforgettable.